In 1967, a scientist won the Nobel Prize for proving that a single pigment inside the human eye is the reason you can see. That pigment can be found in plants. One of those plants grows in a $5 bucket on a porch and produces more of this compound than any supplement on the market. Yet the supplement industry sells it back to you for $40 a bottle, while the plant costs $3 to grow forever. And at the end of this video, you will know all 10 plants and how to grow every one of them in a container on your porch. The scientist's name was George Wald. He worked at Harvard University for over 40 years. In the 1950s and 60s, he conducted a series of experiments that changed everything medicine understood about human eyesight. He proved that a molecule called retinol, which is derived from vitamin A and belongs to a family of pigments called carotenoids, is the molecule that allows photoreceptor cells in the retina to detect light. Without this pigment, you cannot see. The Nobel Committee in Stockholm awarded him the prize in physiology or medicine because his discovery was not theoretical. It was the physical mechanism of vision itself. But Wald's work opened a door that led somewhere the supplement industry would rather you did not follow. Two specific carotenoids from that same pigment family, called lutein and zeaxanthin, concentrate in a tiny region of the retina called the macula. This region is only 2 millimeters wide. It sits at the exact center of your visual field. Every time you read a sentence, recognize a face, or thread a needle, you are using your macula. Lutein and zeaxanthin do two things there. They filter high-energy blue light before it damages the photoreceptors, and they neutralize free radicals that accumulate from a lifetime of light exposure. They are a filter and a shield built into the biology of your eye. Your body cannot manufacture lutein or zeaxanthin on its own. It must get them from food. And some of the richest food sources on Earth are plants you can grow in a bucket. When those pigments thin out, the macula breaks down. The clinical name for this is age-related macular degeneration. It is the leading cause of irreversible blindness in adults over 50 in the developed world. More than 11 million Americans have some form of it right now. That number is projected to reach 22 million by 2050. In 2006, the United States National Eye Institute launched the largest clinical trial ever conducted on carotenoids and eye health. They called it the Age-Related Eye Disease Study 2. Over 4,000 participants across 82 clinical sites in the United States enrolled. The trial ran for 6 years. The results were published in JAMA Ophthalmology in 2013. Daily supplementation with 10 milligrams of lutein and 2 milligrams of zeaxanthin reduced the risk of progression to advanced macular degeneration by 18 to 26% in participants who had low dietary intake of these pigments. This was not a fringe study in an obscure journal. This was the National Institutes of Health spending tens of millions of dollars to prove that these plant-derived pigments protect aging human eyes. So the science is settled. The Nobel Committee confirmed the mechanism. The National Eye Institute spent 6 years proving the application. But the plant that produces more of this compound than anything else on Earth is not in any pharmacy. It is not in any eye doctor's waiting room pamphlet. It is in the garden section of a hardware store, mislabeled as decoration. The plant is a marigold, Tagetes erecta, the tall, bright orange and yellow flower that gardeners buy in 6-packs every spring to border their tomato beds and keep aphids away. You have seen it 1,000 times. You may have planted it yourself last weekend. You spent $3 on a tray of them and pushed them into the soil next to your vegetables because someone told you they repel pests. What nobody told you is that this flower is the single largest commercial source of lutein and zeaxanthin supplements on Earth. Walk into any health food store in the United States tonight. Pick up a bottle of lutein supplements. Turn it over, read the label. If it says Flora GLO lutein, which is the most clinically studied lutein brand in the world, that lutein was extracted from marigold oleoresin. Cayman Industries, the company that manufactures Flora GLO, has built an entire global supply chain around Tagetes erecta flowers. They source marigold oleoresin primarily from contract farms across India in states like Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Hundreds of thousands of acres of marigold fields exist across southern India right now, not for weddings, not for decoration, but for the lutein extraction pipeline that feeds the Western supplement market. Here is how the chain works. Farmers in India grow the marigolds. They harvest the flower heads and dry them. Processing facilities extract the oleoresin from the dried petals using hexane solvent. The crude oleoresin is then shipped to purification plants where lutein is crystallized and standardized. The purified lutein is encapsulated in soft gel capsules and bottled under brand names. Those bottles are placed on shelves in pharmacies and health food stores across North America and Europe. The consumer pays $30 to $50 for a 30-day supply. Every step adds a company. Every company adds a margin. Extraction adds cost. Purification adds cost. Encapsulation adds cost. Branding adds cost. Shipping across oceans adds cost. Marketing the finished product adds cost. The raw material at the very beginning of this chain is a flower that grows in any warm climate from seed in 60 days and costs less than $3 for a packet of 50 seeds. The global lutein supplement market was valued at approximately $360 million in 2023. Industry analysts project it will exceed $500 million by 2030. Every dollar of that revenue depends on consumers not realizing that the active ingredient grows in a bucket on their porch. Now consider the science at the plant level. A single large Tagetes erecta flower head contains between 3 and 12 milligrams of lutein, depending on the cultivar and growing conditions. The AREDs2 study established the therapeutic dose at 10 milligrams per day. You spent $3 on a tray of them. But a massive warning here: never eat marigolds straight from a commercial nursery, as they are routinely drenched in toxic systemic pesticides meant for ornamental use. Instead, you must grow your own culinary-grade flowers from seed. Once grown cleanly, just a few dried or cooked petals can help match those clinical targets. A single plant produces dozens of flower heads over a growing season. A bucket with 3 marigold plants produces hundreds. The math is not complicated. The economics are devastating for anyone selling capsules. In Mexico, marigold petals have been used in cooking for centuries. They color rice. They flavor tamales. They appear in traditional Day of the Dead celebrations, not just as visual offerings, but as ingredients in food served to the living. Mexican grandmothers were putting lutein into their families' diets through marigold petals long before the supplement industry gave the molecule a brand name. In India, marigold garlands draped at temple entrances and around the necks of honored guests are not just spiritual. The flowers are also fed to poultry. Free-range chickens that eat marigold petals produce eggs with deep orange yolks. That orange color is lutein. Indian poultry farmers have known for generations that marigold in the feed makes the eggs richer. Western agriculture adopted this practice too, but replaced the whole flower with a synthetic additive and charged more for it. Growing marigolds in a container is one of the simplest tasks in all of gardening. Use a 5-gallon bucket with drainage holes drilled in the bottom. Fill it with standard potting mix. Plant 3 to 4 seeds per bucket, a 1/4 inch deep. Place the bucket in full sun at least 6 hours per day. Water when the top inch of soil is dry. Seeds germinate in 5 to 7 days at around 21 degrees Celsius. The plants flower within 60 to 90 days. Deadhead spent blooms by pinching them off, and the plant produces more flowers. In warm climates, marigolds self-seed. Let a few flower heads dry on the plant at the end of the season. The seeds drop into the soil. Next spring, they return without replanting. For maximum lutein content, grow tall African marigold varieties. Crackerjack is widely available and produces large, dense flower heads. Antigua is another high-performing cultivar. These are not the small French marigolds sold as edging plants. These are the tall, robust varieties that reach 2 to 3 feet in height.